made my brother confess to a crime he didn't commit. He trusted me, and I promised everything would be okay. The police closed the case. Our parents believed it, but something in him broke that day. He stopped talking. He started disappearing. And now, I don't know how to live with what I've done. My name is Ethan, and I've always been a so-called smart, responsible older son. The one teachers trusted, the one parents leaned on, the one who had it all together, or at least pretended to. I have a younger brother, Liam. We're 4 years apart. He's always been different. A dreamer, wild, unpredictable, the kind of kid who'd forget his backpack, skip homework, or get into random fights at school. But he was never mean. He wasn't a bad kid. He was just free, and I loved him for it. Until the day I destroyed his life, and mine too. We lived in a quiet suburb outside Portland. Our dad worked as an electrician. Mum ran the school library. Nothing fancy, just a regular family trying to get by. From early on, I was the golden child. Be a role model for your brother, they'd say. So I tried, not for praise, just because it felt like the right thing to do. Liam, on the other hand, was the opposite of everything I was. He'd lie on the garage roof for hours, blasting music, sketching random things, staring at clouds like they had secrets. Dad called him lost, but I saw something else. I saw light, a softness, something innocent, and maybe that's what made him so easy to break. It happened when I was 19 and Liam was 15. I was in college, still living at home, working weekends at a mechanic shop. Liam had started hanging out with older guys, loud, reckless types who smoked behind gas stations and laughed too hard at everything. I warned him. He didn't care. "Don't be my dad, Ethan," he'd say. I wasn't trying to be. I was just scared for him. Then one night, I woke up to the smell of smoke. At first, I thought our house was on fire, but the smoke was coming from the street. Dad rushed out first. One of our neighbors' cars, a red Ford Mustang, was in flames. Gone, melted. Mr. Farrell's pride and joy. The fire department said it was arson, deliberate. It didn't take long. Security footage showed 3 teens running from the scene. It was dark, grainy, but one of the figures was wearing a hoodie and a cap, the same kind Liam wore. The next day, police came knocking. They showed us a blurry image. "Is this your son?" Dad looked at the photo, then at Liam, then at me. "Were you there?" he asked. Liam's voice was small. "No," he said. "It wasn't me." The officers left, but the rumors didn't. At school, whispers started. The neighbors' eyes said more than words. That night, Liam couldn't sleep. I could hear him crying through the wall. He said he didn't do it. He swore he wasn't even near the car. I wanted to believe him, but he had the same cap, same build. He ran with the same crowd. Maybe it was him. A week later, the police came back. Not just to ask questions this time, but with charges. There was no hard proof, but they had enough. Witnesses, video, a few testimonies from neighbors, all pointing in one direction. They needed someone to take the fall. And that's when the worst idea I've ever had crept into my mind. If Liam confesses, it'll be over. He'll get probation, maybe community service. That's it, a slap on the wrist, then life moves on. I convinced myself it was the right thing. I told myself I was helping him, saving him from worse friends, worse crimes, worse choices. That night, I walked into his room. He was lying on his bed, headphones in. I sat beside him. I told him, "Liam, just say it was you. It'll be over soon." He looked at me like I was insane. "I didn't do it, Ethan." "I know," I lied, "but they've already made up their minds. If you confess, it'll go easier on you. They'll close the case. No one will keep looking at you like you're guilty." He stared. I added, "I'll be with you the whole time, I promise." He cried. He didn't speak for a long time. Then finally, with a voice I'll never forget, he whispered, "Okay." The next day, Liam signed a confession. He took the blame. The cops were happy. The neighborhood calmed down. The case was closed. The court gave him 12 months probation, community service, and a few sessions with a juvenile therapist. The judge barely looked at him. And me? I felt relieved. I thought I did the right thing. I thought I'd helped him. God, I was wrong. After Liam confessed, everything seemed to return to normal, a fake kind of normal. The judge gave him probation, community service, and a few mandatory therapy sessions, nothing too serious. We left the courthouse and I even hugged him in the hallway. He didn't hug me back. He just stood there, eyes blank. From that moment on, Liam started to disappear. He stopped talking to me, stopped drawing, which he used to love. He barely left his room. Some days, I'd find him just lying on his bed, staring at the ceiling like he was waiting for something to end. I tried talking to him. "You okay?" He'd nod. "How's therapy going?" He'd shrug. "Are you mad at me?" He'd turn his face away. Weeks passed, then months. I kept hoping he'd come around, that things would go back to how they were, but they didn't. He started skipping school, smoking in his room, even though Mom would scream at him. He made new friends, darker ones. One of them, Jace, was already on probation. Another guy, Trev, was rumored to sell more than just cigarettes. I tried confronting him. "Liam, what are you doing? I thought this was supposed to be over. Why are you making it worse?" He looked at me like I was a ghost. "Why not? I already have the label. Might as well live up to it." That broke me. Mum and Dad started to notice too. Mum cried quietly every night. Dad yelled a lot. "We gave you a second chance," he shouted once. "You said you'd fix this." "I never said that," Liam replied. "You didn't give me anything." The house stopped feeling like home. I thought about telling them, about everything, about how I convinced Liam to take the blame. I even stood outside their bedroom door one night, ready to confess, but I couldn't. I was scared they'd hate me, scared they'd never look at me the same again, scared that if I told the truth now, I'd break what was still holding us together. So I stayed silent. Sometimes I'd try to justify it to myself. Maybe I did the right thing. Maybe this would have happened anyway. Maybe Liam really was heading down a bad path. But then I'd look at him, at how he sat in silence, how he avoided people, how his eyes didn't shine anymore. And I knew he didn't become like this on his own. I turned him into someone he never was. One evening I got home from work and Mum said Liam hadn't come home the night before. Second time that month. His phone was off. We called his friends. No one knew where he was. I drove to Jace's place, then to Trev's. No one had seen him. Later that night, a guy named Ray, older, sketchier, called me. Said Liam had been at his place, drunk, out of it. He said he was done, man. Said even his brother betrayed him. That the fire, he never started it. But he confessed anyway. My stomach dropped. "Where is he now?" I asked. No clue. Said he was going to do something right this time. I panicked, called him, texted, nothing. Phone still dead. Liam was missing for 3 days. The police weren't too concerned. Team with a record, they said. He'll come back. But I knew this was different. They found him on the third day. He was sitting in the rain on an old construction site, miles from home. No jacket, soaked, silent. When I got there, I tried to approach him. He pulled away, looked at me like I was just another stranger. The cops drove him home. As we stood in the hallway, he passed by me, didn't even look up, just muttered, "A real brother wouldn't have done what you did." That night I finally told my parents everything, every word, every lie. How I pressured him, manipulated him, how it was never his fault. Mom broke down, not just tears, she collapsed to the floor screaming. Dad sat in his chair, frozen, quiet. He looked at me and said, "You killed your brother long before this." The next morning, Liam was gone. He'd moved in with our grandmother across the state. No goodbye, no message, just silence. He never came back. 2 years had passed since Liam left. After I confessed everything to our parents, the family was never the same. Dad barely spoke to me. Mom acted like things were fine, but her eyes were always distant. She moved like a ghost through the house. I wasn't living anymore. I was just surviving. And every single day, I asked myself, why didn't I stop when I had the chance? I graduated from college, got a job as a junior assistant at a small architecture firm, moved into a tiny apartment downtown. Wake up, coffee, subway, work, repeat. Nights were worse. I couldn't sleep. Even when I closed my eyes, I'd see Liam staring at me, the way he did on that day at the construction site, like I'd taken something from him I could never give back. And I had. A year after he left, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, but I knew that handwriting. Liam, "Hey Ethan, I don't know why I'm writing this. Maybe I just want to know if you still exist. I haven't forgiven you. I can't. Not yet. You didn't just take away my name. You took away the part of me that believed I was good. I didn't set that car on fire, but after what you said, I started to believe maybe I deserved the punishment anyway. And now, every morning, I wake up asking myself, who would I have become if you hadn't convinced me I was already broken? Sometimes I still think about you. Maybe that means there's a part of me that still wants to go back to the way things were. But Ethan, I'm not your brother anymore." Liam. I didn't cry when I read it. I just put the letter in a drawer and left it there for weeks, as if hiding it would make the guilt disappear too. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I decided to drive across the state to my grandmother's town, where Liam had been staying. I didn't call first. I didn't plan anything. I just went. My grandmother was surprised to see me. She hugged me, but there was sadness in her eyes. She said Liam had moved out months ago, lived alone now, in a trailer on the edge of town, worked part-time at an auto repair shop, didn't talk much, didn't see family. "He's different now," she said. "Quiet, distant, like he's carrying something no one else can see." I drove out to the edge of town. The trailer looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Paint peeling, one window cracked. There was a broken lawn chair out front, and Liam sitting on it, smoking, staring at the trees like they might talk back. He didn't flinch when I pulled up, didn't even look surprised. He just said, "You came too late, though." I stood there, hands in my jacket. "Can we talk? I'm not sure there's anything left to say." "I need to say it anyway. You said enough 2 years ago." He didn't raise his voice, didn't cry. That's what made it worse. "You know what hurts the most?" he said, eyes still on the trees. "You didn't do it to hurt me. You did it because you thought you were saving me." I stayed silent. He finally looked at me, for the first time in years. "But love doesn't make you destroy someone for their own good. That's not love, Ethan. That's control. That's fear." I wanted to explain myself, to beg, but I knew nothing I could say would ever be enough. After that, we sat in silence for a while. Then he stood up. "I'm not angry anymore," he said. "I'm just done." He went back inside, closed the door. I stood outside for a long time, hoping he'd open it again. He never did. I never saw Liam again after that day. Sometimes I write letters I never send. Sometimes I imagine what life would have been if I had just trusted him, if I had stood beside him. Instead of pushing him into the fire, I wonder who he might have become: an artist, a teacher, a dreamer, anything but a ghost. But I took that from him, and now I live with the truth I tried so hard to bury. I didn't just ask my brother to lie, I asked him to stop being who he was. And now I live with a version of myself I'll never forgive.